Well, hello, my wonderful brothers of the Maverick Nation, and this is this is going to be a little bit of an irregularity to the norm that I've set up, but this scenario here is a very interesting one, especially how I have it set up. If any of you guys ever know anything about those what ifs, what if, Jesus Christ. What if Deku was betrayed, or what if Deku was cheated on, or like those type of what ifs where Deku basically gets the shaft. Basically, I would like to call those types of what ifs what if Deku got the shaft type what ifs. This is gonna kind of be what if Deku got the shaft, but then slowly built himself up to be like a force to be reckoned with, and by a force to be reckoned with, I mean, basically, don't F with this guy and his posse, or else you will be freaking destroyed. With before the even blink of an eye. Basically, what I am, uh, proposing here is, what if Deku was the descendant, or a descendant, of Sosuke Aizen? Now, I've seen other people do, stuff like this, but, they never really do follow-up parts. Like a video may say part 1, but I never really see, a follow-up part. I never really see people do, series of this. And you guys know that whenever I do whenever I do what-ifs, I like to do them in series. I like to be able to continue on the what-ifery. Because if you don't really continue it on, it really just shows that you weren't really interested in the topic to begin with. And I would like to show that basically, first off, what I basically mean by the descendant, basically Hasashi, I believe his name is Hasashi, Izuku's father. I believe his name is Hasashi. One day, after they had both figured out that, Izuku was quirkless, they were both just like, well, wonder if it has something to do with his DNA. I mean, I don't know how it would really help the problem, but, maybe we could figure out why exactly our son is quirkless. That was basically Hasashi's mindset. Figure out why he's quirkless. And so they basically, did some Ancestry.com bullshit. They pulled some Ancestry.com bullshit. And, went through both their family trees. Hasashi's first, and, then Inko's. But, whenever they went through Inko's family tree, they found something mighty interesting. A man by the name of Sosuke Aizen. And apparently this man was not a good man. He was the exact opposite of a good man. He was a very untrustworthy individual, and, well, he was just altogether a bad guy. Not the kind of person you would consider a hero. At all. Well, unless you're Zalmari. Anyways, whenever Hasashi figures out about her being connected to Aizen, and all this stuff, you know, having to do with Aizen. Hasashi is just like, so this is why. This must be a curse because of the fact that he's connected to someone like him. I knew it. I knew there had to be something wrong. You. And basically, Inko gets Hasashi to calm his tits. His man tits. Calm his man tits. And basically, they end up going with Izuku to, get something to eat. But on the way back home, they're just driving. Hasashi's the one who's driving. And then all of a sudden, it's raining. It's a little bit of snow. Hasashi, the dude, can barely freaking see in front of him, let alone any other direction. And then all of a sudden, just like boom. And then all of a sudden, just like smack. And basically, the car's on the side. Good thing Izuku was buckled in, so Izuku's safe, and Inko was basically doing whatever she could to brace for impact. And so, basically, when everyone, gets checked up on, they get put in the hospital, basically it was a car crash. Because of the slick roads and barely being able to see. So, basically what I'm saying is they got into a car crash. Basically, Inko's alive, Izuku's alive, but Hasashi, the one who was driving, he is the dead. So basically, Hasashi's dead, and Inko is just like, freaking Izuku is just like thinking to himself, "Oh man, what the hell do I do? This just proves right that I'm just all bad luck all over. It just proves it. It's a good thing Kachan doesn't know about the fact that I'm related to that Aizen guy. Come to think about it, he doesn't even know about that Aizen guy at all." And Inko just like, could this be because of? And it's just like Inko is just trying to assure herself, like, don't be all superstitious or whatever. Don't be all superstitious. And it's probably just nothing. It was probably just an accident. So, they're just, one day they're just shopping, and, just, Inko was like, Izuku, wait here, just gonna be a few more seconds, and, then we'll be able to go home. I just have to get these, few things checked. Groceries. And then all of a sudden, Izuku is just, on like a little bench, just twiddling his thumbs, He doesn't really know what he's doing, he's just thinking to himself. And Bakugo and his cronies decide to, roll up, like rolling, 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 rolling. Biker taker. Anyways, they just decide to, come up and just like, Bakugo's just like, oh, what are you doing, quirkless dork? And, Izuku is just like, oh, Kachan. Like, Izuku is just like, um, uh, I'm just waiting. And Bakugo's just like, waiting for what? And, Izuku just like, I, I, and Inko's just like, Izuku? Izuku, what are you? And all of a sudden, Izuku just sees a crow land, like, right next to, like, a trash can. Like, Inko's next to a trash can, and the crow lands on the trash can. And Izuku's like, it's a black crow. But we don't usually get those around this time of year. And the crow is just like, caw, caw! And Inko doesn't really recognize the crow. She's just like, Izuku, what are you doing? And then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, the crow starts to attack Inko. And Izuku is just like trying to run past. And Bakugo was just like, where the hell do you think you're going? And finally, whenever the other bully is like trying to inform Bakugo, like, I think that we have better things to do. And Bakugo's like, yeah, you're right. Don't have anything really that, useful to do, like around here. We'll let you off with a warning. And these are our parts. And Izuku was just like, Mom, Mom! But the crow has already said its piece by sinking its talons straight into her eye sockets. And, forcefully ripping her eyes out. With the bystanders kind of not really noticing the crow. And Izuku was just like, no, 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 no. And the crow just lands next to Izuku, like, just lands on his shoulder. And it's just like, Ka! Ka! And Izuku's just like, stupid bird! And he just, like, swats at the crow. And the crow's just like, Ka! Ka! And just flies away. And he's just like, what's he gonna do now? Like, he's lost both of his parents. And, like, one of them died in a car crash, the other one got their eyes gouged out by a freaking crow. And so Izuku just takes the groceries home by himself. He tries not to be seen. So, stupid butt. He tries not to be seen. So, yeah. He does end up making it to his house. And, sorry about that. That was again. He tries not to be seen. He knows about the key underneath the doormat. So, yeah. Basically, he's just like, I'm quirkless. And, and, and I'm an orphan. Quirkless orphan. Deku. Worthless. Maybe I deserve this. Whoever that Aizen guy is probably laughing at me from beyond the grave. And then all of a sudden, in Izuku's hands, something begins to form. And he begins to hear the words in his head. Shatter Kyoka Suigetsu. And he's just like, Shatter Kyoka Suigetsu? And it's just like, the sword. And he just sees like a piece of paper. And he's just like, what's this? And he just sees the words Kyoka Suigetsu. And then he sees words like Shatter is the Shikai release. Basically, that explained that Shatter is the release release statement for releasing the Shikai. Shatter is. And basically that Kyokasugetsu is now his quirk. Release. Now, Kyokasugetsu is his quirk. And Izuku doesn't really know how to feel about this. Like, he only got the quirk after, like, he lost his parents and was told that he was quirkless. So, what is he exactly supposed to do now? Well, basically, seeing as, time passes, he keeps the whole stuff about his parents, like, a secret enough. By the time it usually, like, hits the news about their, like, Inko's death, he's already found another place to, be. His own little apartment. Whenever the landlord or whoever, asks about certain stuff, Izuku, seeing as he is a descendant of Aizen, would be a pretty good liar. And, he would also be a pretty good liar about the whole sword thing. Well, he would just kind of hang Kyokasugetsu up on the wall. He wouldn't really know what to do with it. However, he would, start thinking about taking some kendo classes. Learning how to master the way of the sword. And, well, he would start to get a pleasant feeling, almost as if that's what he's supposed to be doing. Learning how to master it. Learning how to become familiar with it. Almost as if something's guiding him without him really noticing it. And he would just, finally just plop on his bed and he would watch some TV. The news is boring to him because it's just all stuff he's seen and heard before. But only it's a little bit different because, it's about his family this time and whatever. His life is already depressing as it is, so he just decides to change the channel to something, that would be enough to get him relaxed enough to sleep. And he just, like, finds, that nothing is really, suiting him, so he just turns it off, puts the remote back on, the little table, and decides to drift off to sleep. And he would kind of have, like, his own little inner world, like, dream, where he would kind of just be in the inner world, and he would see someone who would be like him, but in, like, the Ankarar Aizen robes, like the get up Aizen wears whenever he forms the Espada, and becomes the true ruler of all of Hueco that wear, but would kind of, like, every other feature would be like that of Izuku. And actually, no, he would have, like, the Soul Society Aizen, like, glasses. He would have the glasses. Like the Soul Society Arc Aizen glasses. He would have those. And everything else would be Izuku, plus the whole Ankara arc, like Karakura Town arc, Aizen like robe, getup, freaking bug. Ah. Anyways, and this other version of Izuku would just be like, I bet you're wondering why you're here, and who I am. Well, one of those is quite simple. You're here because you need to be. And the other, well, as of now, I don't have a name. Unless you think it is fitting the name of the sword of the man who got you all into this trouble. To begin with, his sword, Kyokasuigetsu. The one you seem to have hanging on your wall, Kyokasuigetsu. And Izuku would get interested. He'd be like, same sword. Passed down. I see. And the other Izuku would be like, the hero system you have today, it is not one that favors people like you, and those with villainous quirks. And those others without quirks, it does not favor them. This system needs rebuilding, either from the ashes or over time. Which would you rather do? King? And Izuku was like, King? That's interesting. You've never been called that before. And so, he would just be like, well, I guess the best way to start is from the inside out. I'll start acting as if I actually like the whole thing, and find a way to get into UA, even without a quirk. Or at least, they wouldn't think it would actually be a quirk. And the other Izuku would just be like, they would be surprised how quirky Kyokasuigetsu can be. Now, it seems we should get to getting things back to a normality. And Izuku was just like, yeah, there are plans that I have already. Plans for the future. And as to whether to have it rise up from the ashes or to have it change over time, I'm still on the fence about that. I'll get back to you about it whenever I'm more sure of one or the other. And the other Izuku was just like, good choice of words. Now, I'll let you get some rest. Good night, King. And that is where I'm going to end off part 1. Because the Dark Shadow Maverick is out, I douses.